I make a promise. I promise this is the last time I preach about the WZO election during the registration process, of course. I know, you've heard it from me before, on WhatsApp and emails, on social media. There's even a poster on the notice board, and probably you have a crumbled flyer in your bag. You know the deadline is the 13th of May, and you know where to register, right? So, why bring it up again? Because I don't want to talk about the election. I want to talk about something bigger. I want to talk about shaping the conversation. We spend a lot of time these days reacting to how others define the terms we live by. Someone says what it means to be a Zionist, and we flinch. Someone else says what it means to be Jewish, and we correct. Someone claims ownership of values or traditions or even truth. And we find ourselves either arguing or stepping away entirely. And every time we step away out of fatigue, frustration, or fear of conflict, the conversation goes on without us. Definitions are written, boundaries drawn, and when we are told this is what it means, but it isn't. Not always, not for us. So, here's the thing. We don't have to agree with the terms we're handed, but if we want to shape them, to expand them, challenge them, or just hold space for complexity, then we have to be there. Not in every room, not in every fight, but in places where it counts. And this, honestly, is one of those places. Of course, I speak about the World Zionist Congress. The World Zionist Congress is often described as the parliament of the Jewish people. I said that before, and you have heard that before. It sounds lofty, and yes, a bit high-flying. But here's what it is. It's the one place where Jews from across the world, across denominations and ideologies come together and make decisions about real things. Leadership appointments, educational fundings, youth movements, diaspora-Israel relations. It's not symbolic. It's budgeting. It's policy. It's who gets heard. To sit at the table is to play by some rules. And some of you have asked me about some parts of the rule book they find challenging. Particularly the platform we all have to agree to in order to register and then later to vote, the Jerusalem platform or the Jerusalem program. It is indeed complicated. It speaks in big brush strokes. It doesn't define Israel's borders. It talks about settling the land without explaining what it means. And it doesn't mention non-Jewish citizens of Israel at all. So you could look at that and walk away. Please don't. Please look at it and say, this is why the Reform movement needs to be in the room. Because the text doesn't interpret it itself. People do. The words don't have meaning on their own. They gather meaning from the voices who sit around the table and bring them to life. And if we're not there, who do we leave it to do? This is not about left or right, not about progressive versus orthodox. It's about something far more Jewish than politics. The belief that meaning is made through conversation. This is why I believe so deeply in what we're trying to build here in our synagogue. Not just a place to pray, a place where it is okay to ask hard questions, a place where people sit next to others who think differently, and they stay. A place where disagreement isn't a rupture, it's an opening. A place that welcomes you as you are and asks you gently, persistently, to bring your voice, your view, your story into the conversation. We're not trying to be right, we're trying to be real and honest and part of the living tradition that says this is ours to wrestle with. You may not agree with every clause of the Jerusalem program. I don't. You may feel conflicted about Zionism, about the state of Israeli politics, about language that seems too broad or too hesitant. So do I. But I'd rather be part of shaping that conversation than watching from the sidelines as others decide what it means. I've had a few conversations recently with people who said they weren't sure they could sign up because the platform isn't inclusive enough. And I said, exactly, that's why you're needed. Not because you agree, but because you care enough to help interpret it into something that's honest, hopeful, and grounded in the values we teach our children. Justice, dignity, peace. And let's be honest, no platform is perfect. Not the World Zionist Congress, not ours here at the synagogue. Every statement, every resolution is a compromise. A chance to say, this is where we are, and this is where we still need to go. But those journeys only happen when people show up. So, no, I'm not asking you to sign up because you love every word on the page. I'm asking you to sign up because your voice belongs in the room where Jewish values are shaped. Because you care about how terms like Zionist or Jewish are understood, not just in politics, but in people's life, in our children's classrooms, on the university campus, on social media, in dinner table debates, and synagogue sermons. When we leave the table, we shouldn't be surprised when we no longer recognize what is being served. So yes, this was, of course, about the election, but it's also about who we are and the kind of Judaism we want to share with the world. You have only time until the 13th of May, that is next week, to register so that you can vote in the June election. Please use the link uk.eventmagics with an x.com, and it is also somewhere here, I don't know where, left or right, in the banner of our YouTube video. So, Shabbat Shalom.